All right, this new placement thing is so hard to get used to. Oh, and I got this cool light thing. I have it sitting here. I should probably move it because I probably will throw my arm up there and totally forget and it'll knock down. But it puts up like lights. It's weird because I thought it would be like a lot of different things with stars and lights and shit. But it just puts up like these green stars, and then it does these waves of lights going over it. But the cool thing is too, is it also plays music. And I didn't even know what the fuck I was getting. I was trying to read the reviews and see which ones that people were saying that they liked and stuff. And I didn't know what all things to compare because I never had gotten one before. Now I would probably, the sounds it comes with, it is, I don't know, they're not sounds like you would, I don't know. Everybody's got their own stuff. It's got like Christmas songs, singing Silent Night. It had the Everglades and the rainforest, but it was pretty intense. Stella woke right up and was like, hell no. She was like not having it. So it was like all crickets and shit. She didn't even want the lights on because I thought, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Just lay here with my my binaural beats and have the stars going across the sky and stuff. And but it wasn't. I was just different than I think. And but you can play Bluetooth through it, so you can play music. So I was like, oh, I think later when it gets dark again, well, it may stay dark all day, who knows, that I will make it play Led Zeppelin or something and have the stars go. I wonder if they go with the music. I don't know. So anyways, but this is a dinosaur egg one because it has a little spaceman, and a lot of people have a little spaceman, I guess. But I don't know. It just pisses me off how much they've lied to us about space and dinosaurs too. But they're hatching out dinosaurs right now. They literally are. They're releasing them in places and shit. And I live in a place where dinosaurs would totally thrive. So I imagine they've probably released some around here. It's like, bug. I will not, like, I think, I don't know. It was like, because me and Stella were going back and walking in the forest. And then one of the trips when we got back, I was like, hell no, I'm not going in there. We went in there one of the days, and the whole time I was just like, every sound, I was so freaked out. I picked up this giant ass stick. I was hitting into the trees, so it would sound like we were real giant when we were walking. And it was so creepy. There's just way too much. There's way too much open shit right now. Like portals, like the video where somebody had gotten the Bigfoot. They were riding on the train in Colorado, and they're just looking out, and they see Bigfoot going. And unless it's a giant hoax, you know, which, you know, could be a huge elaborate hoax, the video's just going everywhere. And his hair looks cool too, if it really is his hair is like long and flowy. I kind of imagined it more like a bear or something. But it was like long and flowy like Chewbacca. He looked just like Chewbacca, really. And but it was cool because if you haven't seen the video, it is because he like blends in. So it would be a really elaborate hoax. Because he's kind of like how we have lizards and even spiders. What I noticed about the spiders on their webs is that they're like camouflage. Like you can't see them if you're going. I think the thing, because I have watched so many spiders now, I feel like I'm becoming an expert. They're so fucking cool. And they put up these webs. They put up like a giant fishing line. They remind me of all these fishermen. And they go out and they make their webs each day to get their catch and stuff. But the thing is about their catch is like, I feel like that the flying bugs that are flying around, because there's so many little gnats and so many little things. And, but it's like their wings, when they're flying, the vibration off of the spider webs So it's kind of like it's kind of like the spider webs put out a vibration, and the wings pick up a vibration. And so then they kind of go away from it. It's really not that easy for them to catch. You think like they'd be out there just loading their webs up. Some of them, I don't think they eat for fucking weeks. I don't know. I don't see them, like, when they get a catch, and then they'll spin it around. And some of the times I think a lot of the stuff they catch is just stuff that falls off the trees. I don't even think it's anything edible. But I don't know, maybe it turns organic when they wrap it up in that stuff and they save it and they get nutrition from it. I don't know. But I mean, they stay alive for some period of time. I got a big one out there who keeps building these great big webs. There was a whole bunch of little ones, those little red ones, but they seemed like, I don't know, I'm so mixed up at this point. I swear to God, every time I think like things are weird, and it's hard to imagine them to get weirder, it just gets weirder. It just gets weirder and weirder. It's so strange. It's so... all I can say is it's as you go through the process of letting go of who you were and becoming this other person, which to me, it just seems like it's like you get back more to like your childlike self, yourself. It's just like, you weren't concerned about what everybody thought. What do they think? What do they think? Oh my God, are they looking at me over there? What do they think? Like we were all just like, oh, everybody's judging us. Oh God, what are we going to do? We were all just so beat down and just so tense. And so, you've got to get to like, why am I so like worried about what everybody thinks and stuff? Because just like the freedom when you're a kid. And I mean, this is something that they show me all the time, is about perspective. And that was weird because like they'll show me something and then they'll bring me information all the time. This is like how they work. And so, and I think it's like this relationship building. Okay, now I'm getting off from the other thing, but there's so many things. Okay, I just gotta trust it. Oh, okay, so, okay. I was just like, it's like one of these things, like in my relationship with this, I don't know, the higher states of consciousness, but you got to think you're the link. So you are your higher state of consciousness. So it's like your child self talking to your adult self. It's like you're talking to yourself. I'm telling you start feeling like you're fractaled. Like to me, where I started feeling like there's so many parts of this, because you go through this part where you are healing and trying to figure out who you are and trying to shed the old you, which is like, just depends on how much you held on to your pain, how much you were felt abused in your life. And it's lifetime after lifetime. You got to think about like these relationships are just another facet. These relationships are big, all the ones that you have these problems with. And so that's why I'm always saying it's important to work on these problems, not just cut people out of your lives. It's one thing to, remove yourself from people or situations that are toxic to you. And then when it's people that are in your close orbit, it's important for you to learn boundaries and how to maneuver through this grouping, this energy pairing and stuff, so that you can grow and expand yourself. So it's important. It's all about you. See, it's all about what you do. It's about your expansion. It's about your connection to you. And this place is so crazy because, if I was talking to people who understood this, it would be such a different thing. But everybody is so three-dimensional thinking that this is like way outside of what they can even understand. And so it's, But it's a process, and everybody's opening up to this process because it's a part of what the planetary energy that is coming into the planet. And so it is to help people through this. It's because, like I've said a million times, it was supposed to be the way it was supposed to be. Nobody was doing it wrong. We were always doing what we were supposed to do. We just got to keep it in the flow. So you don't get hung up on thinking like, oh my God, I should have woke up sooner. I'm so stupid. I wish I wouldn't have done this. I wish I wouldn't have done that. No, you just got to be, you woke up right when you were supposed to. Every single thing had a purpose. There was a reason for every interaction, for every single thing that happened. And there's going to be a lot of big ones. There's a lot of people who did things that other people told them to do. And then they have to go through their whole questioning system. Why did I do that? Why didn't I do what I wanted to do? Why did I do what someone else wanted me to do? And that's a big thing, like, that we're growing right now, that we're expanding on, is coming into sovereignty and moving out of this dependency. And that's why so many things about the groups and everything is shattering, because it's so important for us to, there's like a whole conversations going on inside at the same time as this stuff. So sometimes it's just like, oh my God, it's so much. But that is what I'm saying, is like, as you go through this stuff and you're going through your healing, and then I don't know all this stuff about, coming into your realization about, your soul and your eternal and stuff. Like, I would imagine, that's exciting to realize when you haven't realized it your whole life. So, I don't know what that process is like. But it's going to trigger a lot with your ego. Obviously, we're watching that play out. And so you just got to me, it's get as much about spiritual books. See, there's just so much going on, because there's so much about spiritual books of people who are just opening up to their soul for the first time, who are just realizing they're not an accident. We're not spinning out in space. And we've got these wonderful godlike people who have saved us. And so when you come into reality and you start realizing, and that all of that stuff starts coming on inside of you, it's that whole thing has got to be where everything just flips. It's just like the same thing when I realized all of the people, because I couldn't understand what was wrong with everybody. I was weird. I couldn't understand what was wrong with everybody. And but then in 2020, when I saw the manipulation and stuff, when I realized the brainwashing and just so much was going together for me. And then it was like, oh my God, all this is done on purpose to all these people. They're all just the same as me, but they forgot. And so then it was like, because it used to be like I would have to, every motherfucking thing I would say, God, laughed at, argued about, like everybody was so comfortable with how it was. And it was like, what in the world? But anyway, so imagine it's like that, just like all of a sudden it's like all these pieces start going together and starts making sense, because, we're spirits. That's what we really are. We're spirits. And we're just like in a moving picture so that we can watch and see ourselves, because otherwise we're just energy. So the only way that we can really understand ourselves is these little plays, these little games that, so we can understand who and what we are, so we can make ourselves. But in this process, this consciousness, this conscious energy in their development, because it's in constant expansion. The universe is in constant expansion of knowledge. It's just like this, giant wave of information is always going and expanding. And it's all of us, the cells, the souls that are the creators that create all the different experiences. That's why you can't shame anybody for the experiences that they go through and what they choose, because it's so important to the universe. It doesn't fucking make any difference what you think. Sorry, stay out of my lane. It's not your business. And it's the universe's business. And that is where we have to, as we expand, we have to move through judgment. And judgment is so extreme right now. Like, I keep on finding myself like, oh my God, you're so judgy. Oh my God, you're so judgy. And it's just like, who cares? Who cares? There's so many things we just got to be like, who cares? Who cares? There's an aspect of judgment, of learning, that isn't the same as just like, oh my God, oh my God. What? Oh, can you believe that? No, it is a different thing of looking and seeing like, okay, I'm watching this play out like a movie, and you're an observer. So you're not judging. You're not saying, oh, that person's a rotten piece of shit. God damn, they should have done it different like that. Instead, you're observing and you're witnessing so that you can put that in your pocket. So later, when something happens similar to you, because that is how it goes, that something similar happens to you, that you can call back on that and go like, oh, I remember when I saw that, and I'm going to do this. And you're trying a different thing, because all that stuff is on purpose. And, but we are caught up in this storyline or something. We're caught up in like, so we've gone into our ego, like they've fed into that. And so, and then developed us in this processing of, integration with our ego into this 3D experience. Then they have promoted, with division and this hierarchy and doggy dog world. You got to be the best. I mean, it's insane how many people want to be famous. I mean, it's literally insanity. And then it is extreme. And it's like people just want to be famous. It's not like they have something that they're bringing to the table. It's not like they have something that they have to offer. It's just that they just want to be famous. It's like they just want acceptance on the hugest scale. But it's like, that is not going to give you the acceptance you're looking for. There's another side to the coin. You're going to get so much hate coming back at you too. It's going to be coming in equal measures depending on also your vibration, what you're putting out. And so if you're going to have all of that energy coming, you have to be prepared for that. And somebody who's just looking for love, looking for acceptance, is not prepared to just be bombarded with judgment. And, and so many people need to judge, especially if somebody gets up on top of the hill. There's a lot of people throwing fucking anything they can to try and knock them down, because it's this hierarchy competition that has been created in everybody's mind. And it's so fucking crazy too. Like when I'm on TikTok, like it's getting so extreme. It's getting so, and it has to do that, because it has to get to this point where it's just like vomit. Like it's so disgusting. The consumerism, the absolute mindless, not even being present in our real reality. Like we're on the verge of major crisis in the world, and you're just telling us what at the TikTok shop. Oh, and just look what I just got at the TikTok shop, and all this fucking is so disgusting. And when you're watching it, all of a sudden, because I saw a couple videos this morning, but I saw about 1 million of these. It reminds me of like back in the 50s or something. And, in between, they have these girls come out. Hi, use Pepsodent. It is the best, and they do these little fucking things. It's like all these people have just sold out. And you're selling out to something we're breaking away from. We're trying to break free from it. We're trying to break free from the system. And y'all are just a bunch of, but you think like you're being progressive. You think you're becoming like independent and stuff. But they just suck you right back in. Like you can't even see. They just keep you trapped. And it's just so weird when you see all these girls trying to do these little commercial things. And it is like, it's like, how many fucking girls do we need in the world doing commercials? Like, so we need most of the world to be famous for doing commercials on social media. And That's what they think, that we should just build a society around that or something. Like, what is the big plan? What do you have any vision? What do you see going on here? Like, what is the hopes for the future? Do you not see that, you know, you may want to do this, but about 100 other girls are right there next to you doing the same ass thing? And some of them will start removing clothes and shit. I mean, they'll do whatever it takes, right? So, I don't know. It's the sickness of our society, you know, it's just coming it to the surface. Oh, speaking of the purge, is, I was just watching for a while this morning, as I had a rough fucking night, but I swear to God, I don't. Oh yeah, because I haven't even finished talking about that, because I don't even feel good in my body anymore. Is God, it's so weird. Is so when you go through all of this process of healing and okay, good healing and all of these. I swear to God, sometimes it is like a bunch of different energies, like trying, what about this? What about this? It's like, fuck, hold on. It's like overwhelming, because it's like a bunch of different things. And so, and this is always like, it's like for my training to just relax and not be like overwhelmed by the information or something, to just be able to, and also, one thing too that they rely on is like the translation, which is hard because it's all in pictures and stuff. And sometimes it's words and stuff, but it's like lots of pictures, and it's lots of, there's pictures you can look at, they just go into like a whole fucking thing. They're expansive. It's like a portal. And that's why I think I completely get it, like, about portals. It's openings, it's doorways into something else. It's just going through, like, and you know, when all these people keep talking about that they are jumping timelines, and I think what they maybe is feeling, and I don't know, this is just my conjecture, my guess, is I think what they're feeling is, as everybody's awakening, there's these energies. It's like these big energies happening, and we're like in an energetic storm right now. And I'm sure other people have got to be noticing, like, it's whacked, man. Just like my bread, not like all sorts of stuff. Everything is so out of sync. It's weird. Like, yesterday I was just like, oh, what in the holy hell? Like, everything I would do, oh my gosh, it was crazy. And I was like, an energy just was like yanking things out of your hand or something. And there's so much activity. Yeah, like in these, I don't know. I can't even sleep in my bedroom. It is so fucking noisy in there. It's weird. It's so weird. And I can see activity. And I just, you know, we're all in these different realms. Like, I could be my house, it could be in this forest right here, but in another space and time, I could be in the middle of a fucking shopping center. You know, I could be on the outskirt, like, I don't know. I just know that there's a lot of activity that I can feel, I can hear in this frequency. I'm not sure what all the fuck is going on, but if you're feeling those kinds of things can be really like, what the fuck? And I know this kind of stuff is happening for other people. I didn't even finish the Bigfoot story, because the people were getting the footage out of the train, and this big thing is running, and then it's like as if he knew all of a sudden he was being filmed, and he kind of looked like that. And so he went down, and as he went down, he just went. It was the coolest thing, because his just movement went down, and then he just sat and he looked down, and the way he looked, he blended in with all of the foliage. That's what I was saying. It was like a fucking, one of those kind of lizards or something, like a chameleon or something. And he just blended in with the foliage. And that's where I was like, fuck, that would be extreme for them to be able to do that. And the way he moved. His movements it was very unhuman. But that is very much about the dimensional, like he's a way advanced being that can go through dimensional portals and go in. But we're in a low density. And so the people that are, the beings and stuff that are coming in are way advanced from us. And, we think like, oh my God, but they eat us. So, oh God, they're monsters. Okay, so what are we? I guess think of all the things here that we are supposed to be in harmony with, that we're supposed to be interacting with. They're here a part of our experience, and that we eat them. So, we're vicious towards them. We'll kill them. We'll run over them. We don't give a fuck. I thought this was kind of funny as I just saw this video, and this girl was like speaking to the people who have all been, all of our sleeper cells, and they said, I don't know what y'all, because she has such a southern drawl, and she's like, I don't know what y'all think coming here, but y'all need to know who you're messing with, because up in here, we'll go down and we will stampede. And I can't even remember how she was saying it, but she was basically saying, here in America, we will go and we will stampede and run over people, and crush people over a cheap TV, and then we'll go to church on Sunday. We don't care. And she's just going through this thing like you gotta see. And that is one thing too, is a lot of these people from these other countries, these poor countries, they live in unity. They still have, it's kind of like they can make them super poor, but it brings the people together. And it creates crime because then, but that is a part of their whole thing. And then, a kid goes and commits a crime, and so then they get him in there, and then the government puts pressure on them to put more crime. Like, it's a whole thing why there's so much crime in these places. And they do that here, like you can see. And they're doing it real obvious right now. Just recirculate, hurry, get them out, get them back on the streets. And so okay, so Bigfoot is finished now. Okay, he was running. It didn't seem like a hoax. I mean, he blends into so much the thing. Higher advanced being. But supposedly, from what I have heard from other channelers, is that they like to come here because it is such a cool place. It is like, I mean, it's weird because it's like, it's not a place, but it's a place. It's like, it's a hologram, but it's just like in that spaceship. And they've shown this in the movies and stuff. And it is, I don't know if it's states of our consciousness and that's what we're developing right now or what. But, just like right now on my TV, I have the waterfall right there. And if that TV went all the way down to the ground, so it was just like the wall was this waterfall with this stream going, that I would be able to just walk into that and then I would be in there. And so in the spaceship, that's what it is like. When that guy was saying that he got taken in, and he said that he would go through the door and it was you were like walking into a whole place. It wasn't just going into a room. And it was so funny too, because yesterday I was watching them. Oh yeah, because it was Newcastle After Dark and they put on House 2. And so I was like, oh, I'll put that on while I'm crocheting. And I had, these are old 80s movies and stuff. I watched a lot of these because I don't like those slaughter kind of movies. I like these kinds of movies. But so but in House 2, in this one, when you would go through a door, you were going into different realities. It's really cool. They have a lot of really cool stuff about that. There was another movie I saw the other day. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I'll have to think of it because I've got way too many things right now. Anyways, the whole Bigfoot thing. I mean, we've got all sorts of creatures and stuff. And we got these fucking maniacs that are trying to make dragons and dinosaurs and shit. And then they're putting them out to see what happens. See if they can survive. There's lots of hikers and shit. And oh, God. Yeah, so, and then it's like, oh, killed by some strange animal. That was going on over there fucking by like fucking Massachusetts or something. Someplace, rural kind of town where the woman lived by the forest. But I have more houses around me. She was just like a living by the forest. And there's, they found her out eating. They were saying they thought it was like werewolves or something. But that's like, I think like skinwalkers or kind of look like werewolves or something. I think there's a certain, like how Bigfoot, I think there's a certain being that is like a creature like that, skinwalker thing and a werewolf thing. But so she got found eaten by something that and the DNA is not matched, and well, but there's like 3 people. So like that's the out of that forest, obviously a portal of entry. They're all over the place. It's all a honeycomb. It's all, and they're trying to do so much right now too, to cover up stuff and hide stuff, but it just makes things, dangerous for people. Yeah, because it is like this, everything's becoming so much more active. But, as you go through your healing, once you start breaking free from all of that stuff, your spiritual side just keeps going, I guess. I don't know. Because I swear to God, it's weird. It's just like this saying, like when that very first started happening, and I was going outside, and it kept being like I was in a picture, and I was walking around, and I kept being like, it was so 3-dimensional. I felt like I was in a 3-dimensional picture. And so it's like that. It's like realizing you're walking around in a picture, but it is like, so it's a picture, but other people can come in it. So it's like the energy can hold the picture. So the energy, the frequency can hold the picture. So we can go in and out of the picture. But in order to have certain experiences in the picture, like these learning experiences, you have to join the frequency. So you've got to be birthed into it. You got to enter into the frequency. So you go through another and come out. That's why it's very important. These people who want to keep, that's a part of our sickness that we're purging out right now. There's a lot of, shame on the feminine and stuff like that. And a lot of division and mothers and daughters and sisters and there's a lot of stuff. But, the women have to, throw down their swords and come together. That's what all this is about. Is this really that worth fighting about? Is this what I want to spend my time doing? Like, is it that important? Does she, whether she wants to take babies out of her or that's a personal experience between you and your maker. Has nothing to do with me. I don't have any energy for that. And so that is, all these women have to learn to lay down their weapons and just come together as sisterhood and unity from across all. That is the important part of this experiment as well. Is it's all these different, it's like all these nations are here to come together. And it's trippy too, is like, are they just like whole groups go out? Like, man, when you start seeing the game part of this and stuff, it's trippy. But that goes through as you're going through your process. Like, you don't try and hurry through your process or whatever. Even yesterday, there was something, and I was going to go do something like, oh, I'll go look it up. I remember what it is, because I'm really stuck on this wanting to get Stella a puppy. And it's like, I want to go get her a puppy. She's so lonely. She's so bored. And, she just needs me. But she needs, a companion. She needs, but I can't just get another big dog that would, when I tried, they try and compete with her. They try and, they start kicking her ass because, she's disabled. And so it's just, so I was like, I gotta get her a puppy. It's her little baby that she can raise. Plus, I just know it would have a great personality because she's just the sweetest, most, she's just the coolest. I don't even want to think about ever not having her. Like, I just want to get those med beds. Come on. Home stretch. Come on. But I don't know the ethics behind, like, I can't. I would always let her choose. And I know that she understands. But, I would not force her to stay alive for me. But, I know that that's not something that I could do anyways. And so anyways, I got to, there's energy releases all the time that we got to be having. And also to thrive in the connection when we have it, to really enjoy the love that we have when we get to have it, and how precious it truly is. And that's a big lesson that, people are learning right now. And it's a hard one. But that is, a stage in the development. But as you're going through all the things, and in the spiritual part of it is just, it's weird. It's like my brain just opened up to the whole world. It just became like this whole party. Yeah, I can feel cars coming, like all just this weird stuff that just keeps happening and happening. And it just gets weirder. And it's really weird right now too, is because like, oh man, that's hard. Because it like how I see is like this game, say the movie, and it is, all of it is happening out here. So I'm so much in this observing, but I've got such limited view. And so it even is more like isolating. It's like, okay, I'm in this game, but what the hell am I doing here? Like, it's weird. It's so weird. And I know Stella's feeling it too. Like the energy is so fucking weird right now. And that could be why people we're timeline jumping. The energy is so fucking intense. And I think it's all of these people awakening, and we got all this fucking beings coming. It's like all they're surrounding us. It's like, it's crazy energy. And so Stella, I could totally tell yesterday. Oh my God, she would just be laying there, and all of a sudden she'd jump up and she'd look at me like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'd be like, "I know, it's fucking weird, isn't it?" She'd be like, oh. And she's trying to lay back down, and then she'd all of a sudden jump up and start barking, and I was just like, and I kept being like, what is it? Just calm down, relax. But I just keeps being like, what does she see? What does she hear? Like, I don't know. It's intense. And she was very on edge all day yesterday. And I don't even know. It's just like, everything is just blended. Everything has nothing. It just is like going. I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird. And then plus, I've got so many weird things happening. I don't even know. So all I can say is, as you're going through this stuff, you could go through your healing and stuff, but don't think like it all stops. Like you just, all of a sudden you heal and, no, this is very expansive. Like you just keep going and going and connecting to yourself, connecting to the universe. And it just is like pulling you. And it's like to me, it's so in between, but it's so much of this awareness of where I'm at. And I spend so much time talking to them. And what they've been showing me so much about perspective. And they've shown me this so many times. Like, I understood whatever your reality is what your focus is. Whatever you're focused on, that is your reality. You got to think about your consciousness, your brain. Whatever you want to think of, your focus. When you're focused on something, that is your reality. That is your focus. So when And it's so crazy because I can't remember the thing that I had happened when they had showed me or told me. But then the next day, I had seen this video of this girl, and she was putting on mascara. She was doing this video, and her name's Kelly too. And so she's putting on this video, and she's like, it's so weird, is put on my mascara and stuff. But when I was a little kid, and I was really small, I don't know, I took it, like she was like 6 or 8 years old or something like that. And her aunt was like, oh, you know what we should do? We should put mascara on you. I bet you look so pretty with mascara. So they put mascara on her, she's this little kid, and everybody started telling her how beautiful she was, and oh my gosh, you should wear mascara all the time. And I think somebody even bought her some mascara, and everybody was just telling her she should wear mascara all the time. And so she said that just set her in her life, that all the time she's always focused on, like, I gotta make sure I have mascara. I've gotta, and it's so crazy how, and she was saying, so don't do that to kids. Don't do that, because it programs, and then you start thinking like, I gotta have my mascara, I gotta have mascara. And that's what I've been talking about, like with the filters and stuff, how it's like an underhanded way to get girls to not like their faces, so that they can go on and they can think it's all fun and dandy. And I mean, who doesn't want to go on and see someone turn their face into a masterpiece? And then it's all, fun and dandy, and you're doing videos, but then, when it stops, you don't have the filter anymore, and you're looking at your regular face, and you start to despise your own face. You start to be like, dissatisfied. So it's all this set up to keep you dissatisfied. And then I'm sure it runs the fucking plastic surgery and makeup industry. All these industries, fashion and all of that stuff is purposely to keep the trends going, to keep people unstable. Like, why does it matter if somebody's wearing bell bottoms and somebody else is wearing leggings? Like, who fucking cares? Wear what you goddamn want to wear. Don't wear just because they tell you what's in style. Like, it's ridiculous. I think once they brought hip huggers back, and all of these girls were having all of their stomachs hanging over the hip huggers. It's like, back when hip huggers were in style, nobody had stomachs. We were all skinny. I don't know if they didn't have as much shit in the bread. In the food, as much additives and stuff, if they just hadn't totally gone all the way in yet. But that was a whole thing, because it was also a way to destabilize people's minds and letting go of things by telling them, that it was toxic to care about your body or healthy stuff. That made you a toxic person and shallow and stuff. So see how they do this little twist? It's so crazy, because now, like, what is a shallow person? A shallow person is somebody who doesn't fucking pay attention. Who just thinks about artificial stuff. Who just wants to be famous for talking about somebody else's product. Or lip sync. Who's the best lip syncer? Hey, oh man, I just want to, hang out with this lip syncer and this commercial girl. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Bring something besides your pretty face. Like, and besides the fact your filtered pretty face. Like, come on, people, we can do better. Like, it doesn't fucking matter about some of the stuff that they want to chase. It's like, who cares about it? It's like they're just so caught up, and they'll just expel all their energy. See how they're trapped in this, giving all their energy to this artificial thing, artificial money, the success story, all of it. The success stories are destined. That a success story is, it's that soul's experience. It's like we've all go through different lives. We all get those success stories. We all have them through different lives. It's, nobody is just, I think hear how it's set up, how people think, like that the peasants or something. Like, they're peasant souls. They never get a good life. They always have to just come be the poor peons. No, you're not. You go and play all sorts of parts. You do everything. Everybody's done everything. You know, you've done a lot of bad things, you've done a lot of good things, you've done a lot of fun things, you've done a lot of crazy things. And it's all a part of you. You know those parts of you are in there. You feel them. And as you connect to them, as you, begin to accept them and become, allow them to be who you are and allow them to become your persona, then you're connecting to all these different aspects of you, because that is what your true self is. It's not just this life. You're not just a peasant or a peon or you're not just this. This is such a small thing. I swear to God, it's like you pick one hair on your head and go, this hair is the most important hair. It's the valuable hair on my head. It's like that's what you're doing with this life. You're giving it way too much. There's a whole set. There's a whole bunch more. So you can't just sit here and go like, think that this is all you are. Whatever experience you're going through, that's all you are. Oh, well, I'm poor. I got to spend this whole life trying to be rich. No, you're poor. You're supposed to spend this life enjoying your being poor and seeing what's up. What's it all about? Like, I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to worry about that. That's some nice shit. So, they've made it to where some things that you think are so horrible, but why? Maybe you just came out of a life where you were super rich and you had all these things you had to hold on to and you had to worry and you didn't have any friends you could trust. And it was just like, oh my God, all because you had so much money. And so, the next one's like, fuck that. I don't want to fuck a bunch of money. That's intense, man. But still, you come and you go and you experience like, well, what is it if I'm poor? What if it is if I'm this? And you're just constantly bouncing around trying to see like, well, how do I act if this happens? How do I act if that happens? Well, what if this person, it's endless possibilities. And so it is a nonstop expansion happening. Like we'll be able to do this for eternity. We'll still be able to keep doing this. It's just the thoughts. It's just this energy thoughts going all over the place. But it's so advanced beyond what like what we think our dreams are just like in our head or something. But all of the dreams and stuff is going into portals of entry into different realities. And it is so much about how you pull people's focus onto something. Just like that girl said, like at a young age, they pulled them onto the mascara and the lashes. And it was just like, and I completely understood, because the day before it was something, I don't remember what it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so strange, because somehow you can get focused on something at a young age and you become hyper focused on it. And it becomes where you're always thinking that. You're always thinking, and those are the things you got to break down. See, all those things. Breaking through, like okay, well, what if I don't wear mascara? What if I just let go? What if I just and just start accepting myself without mascara? And I break free from that pattern. I break free from that fear, from that hold on my psyche, on my mind, that I need mascara in order to be presentable to the world. But what you need to do is start accepting yourself for just who you are, as just your God's creature. Like, do we expect, like, we go out to the forest and we're like, damn those fucking deers. They don't ever fix up for us. Swear to God. I saw some moose the other day. He didn't even get fixed up at all. It's like, why do we sit here and think? I even heard something last night where it was like, I don't know, all these people who are threatening us now and all this creepy fucking people who are coming out onto the stage. And, but they just came right out and said, we're all animals. Like, yeah, we know. Well, I think that a lot of people have forgot. They think, well, if you put on some makeup and some fancy clothes. We're not animals anymore. No, we're still animals. We're just dumbass ones that think that we need to go buy fancy fucking clothes and shit. And it makes us better. It doesn't. We're still fucking, we're just trying to pretend to make ourselves feel better. So we're trying to put on a suit. It's so funny too. Think about all these fucking cartoons and movies, and we think it's so funny. Oh, isn't that cute? They've got the whole otter family dressed in suits, and they're going and they go and visit the little rooster family, and they're all dressed, you know. It's like, because we are fucking animals just putting on some clothes and trying to pretend like we're something. And these people are fed up with us. And I don't know. It seems like, you know, the way the Jewish people, I honestly don't even know very many Jewish people. I worked for a Jewish doctor, and he always was talking about he was Jewish constantly. And it was very important. Like, the Jewish people that I have known really want you to know they're Jewish. I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. Like, okay. And that's why I was saying, like, they look like you would look at them and go, that's a white person over there. Ask them, and they're going to tell you they're Jewish. And so I was like, the way that they say that they're the chosen people, that they're like God's original people, it makes you think like they are like the Anunnaki people. Like, there's something, I don't know. I'm sure we're going to find out. I'm sure this is what all this shit is going on, is so we find out some of this stuff. Because I know some of these different groups, like when you go to these different tribes and you see there's facial characteristics that make it where you can see the different tribes. And you know, when you got to go to a person that like looks like their tribe person, there's that one tribe over in Eastern European that some of the people look Scandinavian, and some of the people look like you know, Native American, Indian. These words are so ridiculous. Like, we got to get down to just the tribes, like, because there's so many, but there's so many like Cherokee and all that. So they look like, you know, Cherokee or Shawnee or whatever. Over there was Scandinavian, but it's the same tribe. So I don't even know what's going on with that. And who knows, like, if they've been doing this for a long, long time, you know, messing with us in labs and trying to, you know, the same thing people do with dogs, whatever it is, like trying to create the best version or something. But their whole thing is about creating, well, it even started as that they were trying to create slaves. And so that's what all they want. And that's what they're kind of trying to refine us into, just massive slavery. But this is the, what is that one? It's so, and this is where, yeah, that is where I keep going in my mind, is Westworld. And when the girl is in the thing, and she starts realizing, and she starts waking up, and she starts remembering, and she starts having these things that like repeat and stuff. That's what I feel like. That's where I go in my mind, like, oh my gosh, that is what I feel like. Like, it is, I don't know, like you're coming on board or something. It's weird. You just keep feeling, I don't know. This is just weird. I don't know how to explain it. I'll be glad when there's more people who are, but man, there's so much that people got to go through, all of part of the awakening before you even get to the other part, because it's really feels very destabilizing. Like, I would think if there is people who are going through that part first, that probably is the ones that are going into the mental house, you know. But whatever is, you know, all the different ways have to be played out. Everything has to be played out. We're not all supposed to be playing anything out the same. We're, you know, it's like every single hair on your head's growing at its own rate. Every tree in the forest is growing at its own rate. So we all have our own experience that we're experiencing. And so in a group experience, especially when we're coming together in unity and love and acceptance, that is what we're working on. So when it becomes frustrating and irritating and stuff like that, I've known for a long time, I'm working on patience all the time. Working on patience and not being like, oh my God, why would you do that? That's so stupid. Like, I got to stop being judgmental like that. I got to start just being like, yeah, you're doing that because that's what you're supposed to be doing. And it just be like when I'm out walking with Stella, and I'll see something and I'll just be like, oh my God. And then I'm like, why am I wasting energy on being judgmental on stupid ass shit? I don't give a fuck. Like I don't understand. Like, put your garden way at the back of the fucking yard and then cut down the trees. I don't get it. When the sun is right out front for fucking hours and hours and hours. But, everybody has their own shit. And I can't be judgmental. Just because it doesn't make sense to me. Everybody's got their own lessons, Everybody's got their own life, their own stuff. And so I've just got to let go of things that I want to just sit there. Oh my God, why would you do that? Oh my God, why would you just like, God, Kelly, shut up. And then even if it gets too much, then I'll just like, okay, just some energy is harassing, just keeps pointing out the dark, pointing out negative. It's like, you got to just be like, get the fuck out of my head, get the fuck away. And because it's like a fucking party up in there. And it is like where you focus, who you're taking, whose attention you're getting, and some of them are the loudest, the ones who want you to stay in the negative and stuff. And right now, it's like, ugh, it does feel like there's just a ton of energy that is just like trying to hold us as we're pulling free. And it's like it's trying to hold us back into this. But this is ending. That is like a natural progression of change, is the other part holding on to what was there as it expands into the newer part. And man, it's so cool because it's so micro macro of all this different, like, fuck. When you see this stuff and it is like, and you see how it's like all these things and all happening together, and all of it is representing, all of everything is representing of the same action. It is, I don't know, it's crazy because it is this, I mean, we're all expanding, but everything is this giant expansion. And everything is this giant shift. And it's the whole universe, it's everything. And we're a part of all of that. We're part of the everything. And so we're in this big shift, and it's crazy. It's like, it's kind of like, because this shift was always going to go. It was always going. It's not just like this earth thing. It is, these energies are going through. They started somewhere else. There's energies. And that is where you could even say, like, that is really cool. Like, that is where you could say, like, the gods, the highest forms of energy are up there playing games in rolling a bowling ball that shifts the energy and goes out. Like, that is so, see the micro macro part of things? Like, I don't know if you can see and understand unless you can see it in your head. But anyways, so they're up there creating these energy changes to change the direction of things so that we are going in a new direction. And so but see, this is everywhere. It's the whole thing. And this energy coming in, how it works is expansive for us, but it's like the planet, it would be the nucleus kind of that expansion. And so the planet was like it was like the the energy of change was coming from within and going out. And it's like everything is like breathing too. And so the energy, and see how the energy is like, it goes in and out. And like, and see, we're going with the energy. That, you know, that has to do with, you know, our lives, our actions and stuff. It has to do with it. The energy, the age, all of these things have to do with it. Not just all these limitations and limiting things and just worry about this guy up in the clouds and stuff. No, what all this has to do with is like energy and expansion and, you know, the universal intelligence. Like the universe is, its own master of it is always, that's the main thing. That is the, where they say like the source and stuff. This energetic expansion, this movement that is, that goes, that is like the pull, the force that takes it all is, I think is like what they call of as the source. It is like, like we're all riding a comet or something. Only you got to think about micro, macro. So on a huge, huge scale. And so, and we're all of the sparks, the energy that are flying behind this energetic source, this comet that is moving, and it's this giant energy that is creating, and we are the wake of that energy. We are the sparks that are flying. We are creating all of this stuff. And then you go down into the microscope and you look, and each little fucking thing is a whole world on its own. And so you can go deeper into that world, just like you can go deeper into the mascara. You go deeper into that world, it all goes to where you're focused. You can go as deep or you can go as far out. In the ascension, in the awakening, it is the blending of them. It's you pulling it all together. And so it is this, you pulling it all together is what is expands you. So all of the energy that is coming in is helping you. It's the force behind you. That's why I think all these people think it's like timeline jumping and stuff. I think it's these energy waves coming in, and it's the people, the effect on the population is the energy awakens people. And you know, and there is all these different groups here. Like if we go outside of these lands, and you know, once we do, and the ice wall is down, let's say the ice wall is down, the firmament's down, and we just travel around. We can, I don't know, astral travel is what keeps coming in my mind. We can just go wherever the fuck we want. And so when we are, when we go outside of where we think our restricted area was, and when we move past that, it's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be different kinds of, you know, weather or environment, different kinds of realities. Just like going into a different room or something, into a different place. Just like, you know, you go, if you went here and you went to New York City, which I just was watching a live right before I came on here. And I wanted to talk about that real quick. And so if you went here and you went to New York City, or you went here and you went to my house, like it'd be totally different reality, totally different experiences. And so when we go outside of there, it's going to be like very similar of totally different experiences in all these different places. But the people are going to look, the humanoid people, if you listen to any of these, what those people call the secret space program people, like Corey Good. I don't even know all of the different ones now. I just know Corey Good mostly. And there's a couple I recognize, but I don't know their names. But I'm sure I could get it to come to my head, but I don't want to focus on that right now. Is what they have said is all of the people, all the different humanoids, they all look more like Pacific Islanders and Middle Easterners and stuff. That's what mostly everybody looks like. And this white person thing isn't, especially white people that have like, no culture, nothing, my grandpa was Scottish and my other grandpa was from the Ukraine. And or Eastern European. So a Scottish and an Eastern European grandpa. And then my grandmas, I don't know, of her like Dutch, Welsh. So I don't know. I just think that there's so much that is just so much about lies. Everything is about lies here. And it's all coming out all the time. Like, in the Times Square guy. So he was live this morning, right when I got up. I just went on there and that was the first thing I saw was this guy in New York live. And I was like, oh, he's in Times Square. What's going on? And because they've been putting out all these reports, like where people stay home and stuff. And that they called every single cop. They put out this report thing. Every single cop in New York was supposed to be on duty today. And so he was in Times Square and he was going around and there was all sorts of news people with their shit popped up. And it was like 6:30 in the morning. And I would have thought there would have been more action, but it didn't seem like any downtown at 6:30 in the morning. So, but I would have thought New York, it would seem more like middle of 8:30 traffic. And so, it was just some people. And but he said what's weird is that there's no cops anywhere. He kept saying it. He kept going, there's usually cops over here, there's usually cops over there, usually Times Square, there's cops everywhere. There's nothing, no cops. And then he went to one place and he said there was a couple cops. And he said it's really weird though, because they just got and left. They didn't even stay. He said, he kept saying, he was the one who kept saying, and he kept saying, this is weird. This is weird. There's something weird about this. And then nothing was going on. And I just saw him right before I started this. Nothing was going on then. And I kept being like, fuck, it's kind of creepy. It's like, you're watching this is all of a sudden going to be like September, you know what I'm saying? And so then all of a sudden something happened with the wheel on his thing. And so he was having some problem with his wheel. And then he started driving and I was about to come over and start doing this. And his thing popped up again. And his battery died. So then he was like, fuck, man, like, fuck. Things are... And at that point, you don't even know, is his battery died to keep him there for good or, like, fuck. This is the thing, like, right now, this is like, we're getting to see our truth. Like, and some people, I feel like a lot of the people who are going to be leaving abruptly isn't, like, they aren't stressing out going up towards this. Like they're not all worried and watching and stuff. I feel like the people who are more worried and watching are the ones who are more on guard. But there's a whole group of people. Like there's so many videos speaking to these people. Yeah, you want to take us on? Do you know how many weapons we have? And just like that one person was like, we'll stomp you for a cheap TV. Like, we aren't a community here. We don't give a fuck about each other. You think we give a fuck about you? So it's, but that's the truth. That's the fucking truth. And then the people do just go to church and then they do just like, well, everybody sins, Jesus saved me, so I don't need to worry about it. And so it's like nobody takes responsibility for what they're putting out in the world. And that's what really matters. That's the part that really matters. But they're all caught up in the game. But, you know, whatever, they're caught up in the game. They're supposed to be caught up in the game. But now you're in the transition part. And now it's like, how well can you transition? How well can you do this? How well can you let go of who you were and move into who you never even knew you were? And, well, you may have when you were a little kid. But then, you know, I mean, people get traumatized quickly. My mom said, like, my dad was holding a gun to her head and yelling at her something. Like, I think I was 6 months old, sitting in her lap. I could have been a year old, but I think I was 6 months old. So, you know, our trauma starts early. It's, you know, our lives can be chaotic from this, you know, from the jump. So, but you got to remember that all of those are your challenges. It's what you do with them. Who do you become? You know, I have this one daughter, and, you know, she had gotten pregnant in high school and went off. You know, I tried to talk her into staying and going to school, you know, being this good citizen of, and she's gone against all of that stuff. She didn't get her driver's license and still drove, and she went through years and years of just poverty, and I kept, you know, thinking like, what? But she learned so much. She became so resilient. Like, she learned a lot. Like, there's good reasons for these things to happen. It develops you, parts of you that couldn't exist. They have to have these things happen. They're the triggers to make those parts of you exist. You know, and you got to think, you're trying to expand micro, macro. You're trying to expand just as the universe is always trying to expand. You don't want to just play it safe. You're not, as a soul, you don't want to just play it safe. You don't play it safe at all. You go out for all sorts of experiences. And so don't, you know, in this life, you may be just like completely burdened and paralyzed by trying to please other people so you can be liked. So, you know, your fear of rejection, the fear of not fitting in is all consuming. But you got to let go of that fear and begin to just, you know, keep telling yourself, does that matter? Does it matter? Do I want people around me that I have to pretend with? Do I want people around me who don't accept me for who I am? I mean, but you got to put your real self out there. You know, most people, that is, that they don't just wear one mask, they've got several masks on because they are so paralyzed of fear of being rejected or having people not like them or accept them. And that all comes back from childhood wounds. So that's where you just keep reeling it back, going backwards, stepping back, and finding the initiation, the birthplace of that fear, of that pain, of that rejection. And there's probably a lot. There was probably one, and then this one fed that one, this one fed that one. Then you start setting them up for yourself. So you know, you got to break them down. And that is always like what you do with your problems. Do you just set up more problems for yourself? Because that seems to be the typical, our typical way that we handle it is just set up more problems for ourselves. And then at some point we get in so deep, it's like, well, fuck it. Now I'm just fucked anyways. I'm going to hell. And, you know, people just are like, fuck it. It's too hard. It's too hard to be good. It's too hard to be nice. It's too hard to, you know, it's exhausting. But it's not supposed to be hard. The only reason it's hard is because you're trying. You got to just, there's the healing, and it just, you get into just an allowing. Because you don't realize when you're not healed is you're fighting. It is the same thing what I was saying. Confirmation earlier is the okay, I gotta see it more clearly. Is the didn't say clear the slate. So I gotta see it more clearly. Because it is I gotta see back where I was. So if I don't know. But what I do know is that you've got to be working on this stuff and letting it go. And because it is all you holding yourself back. There's all these structures, these paradigms, these prisons that we create for ourselves to keep ourselves acceptable, to make ourselves presentable. So we hide ourselves because we feel like we're not good enough. There's something wrong with us. We're not enough. And so then we have to go in and we have to reevaluate. Like, where did that message come from? Why would I feel that way? Why would I think I'm not worthy? How could, out of all these billions of people, all these billions of possibility of friends and acquaintances, that one person would make me feel like I'm not worthy? You know, you've got to realize that you're the person who is continuing that commitment to that message, that you're not worthy. And you are trying to become and pretend and put up a different part of yourself so that you can be what other people will, what you think other people will appreciate. And then it can be so such a slap in the face when, you know, somebody doesn't accept that, or somebody pushes back and stuff. But you got to let go of that. You got to let go of concern about what everybody else is thinking about you. Because in all actuality, you know, you can't please everybody. It's impossible. You can't, you're not everybody's cup of tea. And, you know, it's all based on vibration. It's based on resonance and vibration. It's based on wavelength. And so, you know, we're trying to, rather than find our own wavelength, our own group, we're trying to, make things work. But see, that is a part of the fucking lessons. That's a part of the fucking whole science experiment, is trying to learn to come together and make things work together, to come in together as unity. And look at how this has got to turn so like fucking bitter cold in order to bring people together. If people have everything they want, they just stay separate and divided, and then if you get them all hurrying and scurrying, they don't give a fuck about each other. And then, yeah, you make it about this, the goal, the gift, you know, the cheap TV. So, and then everybody's like, well, there's only 10 of them. I got to get one. So everybody's like, fight over the fucking shit that doesn't matter. So much stuff. I'm like, TVs are going to be something that I think are going to go in the dumps all over the place. I mean, I bet you that there's going to be, you know how there was book burning ceremonies before? I bet there's going to be fucking TV breaking ceremonies. People are going to be out there in their fucking neighborhoods piling up TVs, shooting at them because of the manipulation that has gone on in people's minds. And when the people who are still tricked, who still don't get it, that when they flip, when the switch flips, and all of a sudden they see and they realize like what this box was for, and the influence that it held, and how it kept them trapped from not seeing the truth. I think there's going to be some, but it's just so crazy because, yeah, all these people run down there. And, I mean, all these people are everybody's celebrating for fucking Halloween and decorating. And that's another thing. I walk around the neighborhood all judgy, like, what is wrong with you people? It's like, come on, Kelly. Let them enjoy their three-dimensional life. Let them enjoy this while it lasts. It's almost over. It's almost over, that's for sure. I really feel like it's almost over. Like, fuck. Like, I don't know what's going to happen today. Like, I thought that was pretty creepy, that there's no cops. But it was also weird how it was all those news people. But since there was people around, I don't know if they really be setting up the shots. But they can set those up like in a studio or something, and then just factor them in. And I guess right now, because they've made all these places where nobody can go except... Is there dust on me or something? Except... I think that was just a light. That's weird. that they have it where nobody else can go but CNN. And so they're the ones who are supplying all the footage, apparently, to all of the local news. So the only news you're getting is whacked out shit off of fucking made up land of somebody was talking about, oh, this guy this morning off the thing, when he was showing the news people, he said, yeah, the news actors or something like that. I was like, yeah, because that's what they are. They are just, it used to be like serious business, Walter Cronkite was serious business. He was like informing you what's going on. Now it's just people with a bunch of makeup and filters on, sitting there reading fucking teleprompters and saying whatever they're told to say. They don't know shit. And they probably were reading it back then, but I think, Walter Cronkite was probably a little bit more involved in finding out what was going on and then getting it out there to tell us what was going on. Now, I mean, and Obama did something about that too. Like he put it in there where media can lie, and it just changed. It changed from them trying to inform you and give you what was up, but it was also being manipulated back then. I mean, I remember fucking Vietnam was on every fucking thing every goddamn night. Vietnam, Vietnam, Vietnam. And then they have fucking fights going in the streets and shit. So they've been doing this shit so fucking long. It's the same shit. And then it's picking up steam so fast. I mean, we're just bouncing from one fucking disaster to another. And it's so extreme. Extreme disasters. Extreme fucking murder and mayhem. And but, when you think about the universal action of it all, that shows you, like, we're coming to that point, like, where everything is just popping off. But when it goes, it's not going to pop off and it just go out that way. It's going to go the other direction. We're going to have this giant switch. It's like because the pendulum is swung so far over, it's going to swing back with a vengeance, with a force. So that's why I keep saying, and the way that it's held back, it's going to go like there's going to be a propelling of energy when this goes. It's going to be, like, I keep hearing all these tarot people keep saying it's going to seem magical. I think that is what it's going to be. Like, it's going to seem magical because we're going to be going in this direction. It's like, oh my God, we're about to go off the cliff. And it's just going to go and turn and go. But that's the unstabling part. It's like we're all braced for this one impact. And then it's like we're suddenly saved at the end, which, I had that experience when I was driving as a kid, and I knew I was about to hit that truck and there was nothing I could do. And it was just right there. So I just shut my eyes and then nothing happened. And I opened my eyes and I was in front of the truck. It's like, I don't know what the fucking magic shit had to happen right there, but I had to have my eyes closed for it. So, that's going to be kind of like what we're going to have happen now. Is that we're going and it's like, oh my God, we're bracing for impact. Like, fuck, this is it. But, it's also is going to be used by the universe to take a lot of energy out with it. So there's going to be a lot of energy that's going to go. So there's going to be, and that's why I was like, fuck, it's going to be like a whole nation is going to go, because this experiment is up. It's changing. The game's over. And so I don't know. I'm thinking any fucking thing can go down at this point. Like, shit is just getting wackier and wackier. Especially, like, to me, the more you're connecting to your spiritual side, your spirit, the more it just is so weird. And it really is like the fear is what holds you. And it keeps pulling you back in. Yeah, but what if this happens? What if that happens? But you just got to keep going. Yeah, but I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Like, you got to get in, with your soul. Like, because your soul will tell you, where you're supposed to be. And then plus, this is where, to me, you don't force things too, is, oh yeah, because the puppy thing with that's where they were telling me about, you don't go and force something. Something will come to you. So, if I'm supposed to be getting her a puppy right now, the puppy will find me. I don't need to go out and go find it. If it's the right thing, it will come to me. And so it's kind of like just this changing how you are trying to do things and, approach things in life, is letting things come to you rather than going and trying to force things to be the way you think they should be. And things do. The energy, there's like, it's like we have to come into trust with the universe. You have to come into trust to understand that it's going to be giving you what you need. It will give you what you want along the way too. When it's, when you're wanting, like, oh gosh, I would really love to just have this beautiful house. See, the thing is like, you got these people who, well, I've been wanting a house for a long time. But see, are you sitting here thinking like, oh, I would just really love to have that house, and oh my gosh, I would love to have a house and it would have these pretty windows up front. I'd put these window boxes. Oh, I'd paint my door a different color. Oh, I would put a little flower walkways, and you just keep thinking about the house you want. You keep picturing it. Walk around neighborhoods and look at the houses and really keep thinking about, like, oh, I love that house. That house is the one I want. Oh, I want a house like that. And you'll get a house like that. Or are you, well, I'm homeless. I'm never going to get out of this. I'm just stuck. I'm fucked. I'm never going to get out of this. I'm never going to have anything. I'm never going to have anything. I'm never going to have, then you won't. So those are the things on manifesting. That's why I say it's like you're on this timeline of learning, or you're on this timeline of going and getting. So, but you're not going out and getting it. You're showing the universe what you want. You're directing the energy towards what you want. Because when you're not, and you're just sitting there, poor me, I'm never gonna get what I want. It sucks. Fuck. I can't even do this. I can't even do that. Then that's when you want stuff, you got to keep putting it out. Like, I wanted a fucking plaid suit. So you picture the plaid suit. God, I really want a plaid. But I'm not going to go out and start trying to get one. One just comes to me. I have this happen all the time. I'm guaranteed. Like, this is how it goes. I've been doing this since I was a fucking kid. I don't know how I even started. I mean, like, I don't know. I just, fuck, it's so weird when I just get into the thing of, like, why don't other people? But it's just like I just have never felt like I was alone. Like, I've always had them talking to me. So I was always able to be like, wake me up. I didn't use an alarm clock. I've relied on the universe. That's what I would say. I've relied on the universe throughout my life. And I have fought things, where I've felt like I thought, what I thought was right was the right thing. And I've fought them, but they're always telling me, they're always talking, so I have a different maneuvering through because I'm always talking to them. So the experience is different. You can have a different experience the more you contact, with your guides, the more you get into that kind of communication. So and look, I'm just all over the place. Let me think if there was some, because so New York, and there's a whole bunch of cities. There's no telling what's going to go on today. It could be another thing where it's nothing, it was all just to build up this fear. It could be another thing where, it was a set. Oh, yeah. I almost recorded last night when I heard this. I really wanted to say this. This was fucking trippy. So this is a recording. I'm going to kind of try and say, I'm going to be careful about my words. So if I say things that don't make sense, just kind of fill it in. So this woman did a recording. And so she's in England, in a village. So she's in a smaller kind of community. And she called it a bed and breakfast. I think over here in America, we would call it a hotel because it sleeps 276 people. And a bed and breakfast here typically sleeps like 10 people or something, and very, very small. And so I think on our scale, this would be more like a hotel. And so she wasn't having any customers. You know, I don't know, with all the bullshit that they've been doing and closing shit down, like, you know, they're trying to run businesses out. And so she hadn't had any business, and the government asked her if she would take all these migrants. And so she said, you know, sure. You know, they said they'll pay her. And she said it was a huge amount of money, huge amount of money. And so she said, you know, like, how can you turn it down? This is the thing. This is the thing. And so she then, she was expecting all these families to show up, but it was all, she's got 176 of them, and it's all between 19 and 30. And so she thought that was weird. She was like, that bothered her. She thought that was very strange, because it sounds like an old lady, and she's talking to somebody, and she's like freaking out. This is scary. This is really scary, because every time I think about what's about to happen to this lady, it's like makes me sick. So, because I don't think she has a fucking clue. But you know, this is the thing. This is where you are faced with something. This is where this shows you what you're made of. This shows you what you're made of. So she has all these men there, you know, but you know, she's getting all this money and stuff. And so then she had the British military showed up at her house the other day. Oh my gosh. See, I swear to God, sometimes they just want to interrupt me. This energies. I thought you were going to get the bells here for a second. So you want to lay here, honey? So she said that the military showed up at her house. And so she was like, well, that's weird. And, but, you know, I mean, the government's paying her for housing all these people. And so she, and they said that they had all these crates they need to deliver. And where do they need to deliver them at? And I think she said, like, you know, go in whatever door or whatever. And so, whatever it was, I think that was on the phone call. But when the guy was at the door, he was like, okay, we're done. We've already delivered them. This is your envelope. And this envelope, don't open it until he told her when she could open it. And so she was like, okay, weird. And so he left. And so she's just weirded out. She goes in, she sees all these giant crates, and she's like, what the fuck are they delivering? And the guy had told her she's not allowed to touch them or look at them or anything. And so she's just like, what the fuck? This is weird. And so she went to talk to her friends and said, you know, like, this is weird. Like, why would they bring this? And what is going on? And so her friends all say, well, you should just go look. It's on your property. They can't tell you what to do. You're held responsible for whatever's on your property. And so you can see where this is going. It gets worse. And so she goes back to her house. She opens them. Well, she first opens the envelope. And in the envelope, it was supposed to not be open for a couple days. Maybe today is the day. And, oh, this is sickening. And when she opened it, it was all a bunch of keys. And then all the keys were numbered. So she took the keys in and she saw the numbers coordinated with the crates. So then she's like, okay, so the envelope holds the keys. She was holding the keys. So she goes in and she starts opening the crates. Fuck, dude. Fuck. She said there was enough stuff in there to wipe out her whole entire village. And she said the amount of stuff in there was absolutely insane. And not just auto fast ones, but all of the things that you need to stick in them to make them be effective. And so not just those, but all those little round things that you pull those things and you throw them, whole thing of those. And so she freaked out. And what the fuck do you think she did? What the fuck? She took all the goddamn crates. She took the motherfucking crates to her storage unit. So I don't even know. Like, we'll never hear about this woman again. I mean, she's fucking gone. Like, what in the holy hell? And she was so distraught. She was so upset. She was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I've done this to my village. I can't fucking believe it. And it totally takes you back to a certain era, a certain time of our history. And, you know, and this has been going on the whole time, you know. They trick people. They get them to see on this other side, and they're not seeing the truth. That's why all this has to come out. It's such trickery. And then how they always use us money is a weapon. It's used against people. Like, you got all these people mindlessly just doing whatever they can to get a quarter off of everybody's sales. And I'm telling you, video after video of these people just overwhelmed. They can't keep up with their sales. And they haven't even, because they're having to bring in people, they're having to bring in neighbors, friends, they're having to do all this stuff to try and get their products out. Like, that's not sustainable. And then they're like, and we're going to keep the quality good. I promise you that. But once they go and they see, after all these sales and stuff with the money, and how, you know, they're giving too much of their money out, it's way better to have a quality product and have regular customers that you sell, that you depend, there's a relationship. They want your product, and you want them to have your product. And so, but you can keep your product how you want it to be, and as much time as you want to be. Like, do you want to spend fucking all day long trying to fill little bottles so you can send your tonic out to billions of people across the world? Or can we have a lot more people start to make a lot more tonics and fill all these different gaps? Like, but see, this is where people are going to see. You're not going to get rich off of doing that. You're going to get your energy expelled, and all of your money is going to go to all these other people, and then you're going to get frustrated and feel like, I just did all that work and got nothing. So it's, but like, a lot of people have all these good ideas of products and stuff, but they've still got work to do on the releasing this 3-dimensional programming of how to become successful. Because it's all manipulation. It's also that they can make money off of whatever you're doing. And then they even want to spread it even thinner. Every single fucking girl that's got a filter, she can make some money off of your product too. It's like mental. So, anyways, let me think what it was. Oh yeah, because that lady. So, fuck. And how many hotels and stuff they've done the same thing all across. There's going to be some shit that's going to go down. Like, fuck. And the woman, she was just like, our own government. This is our own government is trying to kill us. Like, but that's the thing, is everybody's got to wrap their head around. This isn't our own government. Like, none of this is our own government. These aren't people these are all, it's been going on for decades, is to get placed people. These people are all placed, and they're all of a global agenda. They're all of a certain mind for. That's why we have this big breakdown that's going on now between all these different leaders, is that we have the leaders that are for the free world, and we have the leaders that are for the controlled world, that see us as animals, and we're their species that they can test on and shit like that. So, but, we're getting let out of the lab. That's just the way it is. We're getting let out of the lab. And so it's going to change all of our lives. But everybody's got to, it's going to be a big process for people to go through. It's going to be a hard process when people start seeing, like, everybody wants to break free from this, but it's going to be dramatic. Hopefully it's today. I swear. It's going to be dramatic, but it's going to be like, so whenever it goes, it's going to be a relief, but it definitely is going to be like we're headed off of the fucking cliff, and it's just at the last minute. It's going to be, to me, I thought that 10-minute Hawaii missile warning thing, where everybody thought they were going to die in 10 minutes. I thought that was representative of what this is going to be like, where everybody's going to have like a few minutes of thinking like, fuck, this is it, we're dead. And then it's like, boom, everything is going to turn the other direction, and we'll be saved at the last minute. But what will save us will be the shocking thing, I don't know. Trump flying in on a broom. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Like, it's going to be something, because this is all a big fucking show. It's all a big fucking movie. It's a big, like, woo! So, and then the more you connect with your soul side of it, the more you will understand that, the more you will see, and the more, you know, I mean, the things have an impact, and they're hard and they're painful. Like, I have to turn away from so much stuff. There's so much sad stuff. And some of these motherfucking planes, and they're so fucking loud. It's just getting louder and louder. Like the firmament, it sounds like it's just like falling down on top of us. And have anyone else seen like the rainbow pictures and stuff that people have shared? The rainbows all seem like they're just like really low. It used to seem like a rainbow was way up there. Now they're all just like really low. They're getting thicker. All sorts of weird rainbow ones. So, anyways, everything is, you know, we're in this big process of change, and it's going to be the ones who can change. It's all about us. It's about you know, what we can do, and we are the creators. And I just saw this other video of this girl, and she was saying about, you know, all you people who keep talking about World War III, and this is the end, and this dystopia, and all that stuff. You guys are making that. That is your reality. You're creating. And that, you know, and that just goes right along with the other stuff that I keep getting the information about. Like, yeah, we're the creators of this new world. So we've got to keep on seeing the future, seeing what it is that we want from this new world. And not just seeing it, but actively participating, actively taking moves, like becoming what it is that we want, what we want from the world. We're moving towards that ourselves. And so, anyways, I'm about to have a coughing fit, so